So when you came to this, what year was it?
We came to the theater in 2010, December 10th of 2010.
And so so you were in marketing.
Yes.
How long were you in marketing?
Oh, we're not going to tell my age
career?
today.
No, but that was
Yeah,
your
my whole
career.
career. Yeah, my whole career has been in sales and marketing.
So were you just
Special
like,
events, promotions, advertising.
wait, but that's perfect for this in a way, right? Because you apply all that to this.
Oh, I play it every day. Absolutely.
So that totally works. So when you came here, it was a leap of faith, obviously. Now, you guys lived in East Aurora too,
We
right?
did. We lived in East Aurora at the time for about, let me see, my daughter, probably about 12 years.
So having lived here, you frequented the theater, of course.
We did.
And so when it came up, was it a no-brainer, or you were just like, eh?
No, it was actually, a friend of mine approached me, said, would you be in, they're looking to sell the theater. I'm like, okay, so they're looking to sell the theater. She goes, they're looking for the right person. I said, well, let's see if I know anyone. And she said, no, you're the one. I'm like, no, I'm not.
So how did she, she just knew? She just knew you and just knew it would be a good fit.
She thought it would be a good fit, and I thought it was just a joke. So I went home and said to my husband, yeah, my friend thinks we should buy the movie theater. And I dropped it. And then 2 weeks later, he's like, did you get the information about the movie theater yet?
Wow.
And I'm like, are you serious?
So it was a mutual thing, really, or he was the catalyst for it.
He was the catalyst. He truly was the catalyst, and he was the one that kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And then one day, matter of fact, December 9th of 2010, I was told, I'm faxing some paperwork over, why don't you sign it? And I did, and he said, okay, you own a movie theater.
But he knew that you would be good for this.
He knew,
and he knew maybe you were just like, the marketing thing, he was probably like, you know what, she really should be her own boss. And she should really right? There must have been 1,000 reasons for him.
My husband always had a passion for owning a business.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, we owned a movie theater, and we didn't know what we were doing, so that was kind of fun.
It is. It really is. It's those old Disney movies where, that ski lodge movie where they inherit the ski lodge and they go up and they don't know. It's, that is life.
My favorite movie that reminds me so much of our experience is with Matt Damon, We Bought a Zoo. Because it was just one of those experiences in that movie where he was going through a change in life and just kind of trying to figure out life and bought a zoo. And I jokingly say to my husband, yep, we bought a zoo.
Yeah, well, and I always think of the Muppet movies whenever I think of a theater like this, that scene that they show them from the front, or Gremlins, when it's just like chaos.
Yes.
And I used to run an arcade when I was 18. I worked at my parents' restaurant, did my band, and also ran this arcade in Eastern Hills Mall, which is right across from the theater. So I would give them change because we were in an arcade, and they would let me see any movie I wanted to see. So I have a kid show.
That was a good partnership.
It's awesome. So I would go to I loved matinees, and I love seeing movies with little kids. They are hilarious because they are so into it.
And they're unfiltered. They say things.
And they'll talk to the screen.
Oh,
they'll scream,
they'll talk
they'll
all
laugh,
the time. Yes.
they'll cry. And I saw both American Tail movies there and a bunch of other ones, and it was really awesome to see those kids. It was more almost to hang out with the kids, because you just get a different experience.
You do. It is funny because they just talk.
Yeah, they're watching.
It makes you laugh.
Yeah, they're hilarious. So you have your theater. What was the first thing you did when you got here, as far as taking it to where it is now? Did you have a big project?
We didn't have a big project. One of the things that I would say the most successful things that we've implemented very long ago, one of the first things we implemented is we do birthday parties, children's birthday parties. And we found that it worked out beautifully. People enjoyed them. It was a great additional revenue source for the theater. And we've been doing them ever since. And I gotta say, we're kind of booked out on birthday parties. And we now have many adults coming saying, well, can we have our birthday party here? So that's what I'm going to be working on now, kind of an adult birthday party package, because I don't think they want to eat kitty combos out of little boxes. But
some people might. Give them little paper hats.
But they really enjoy it. So, that really was one of the first things that we did that had a major impact of kind of putting our footprint on this place.
So will you do weddings, you said?
We do weddings.
So you have weddings. kids' parties. You do these wonderful movie events.
We do a lot of special events, and I am blessed to have very good friends who have very interesting collections, such as our Grinch Who Stole Christmas exhibit.
Yeah, which now I can cut in that. Yeah, he was awesome. And he is amazing, like his passion for it and what he does and how he gives back through that. And that's an annual event here.
It's an annual event here, and honestly, the support that we get from local businesses, they act as sponsors for that event and several of our other events, which help us underwrite the cost of the movies, so we're able to show them for free. All those classic holiday movies, It's a Wonderful Life.
Big deal.
The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. So yeah, it's really becomes a real feel-good during the holiday season, and we've also tied in a couple charities that we raise money for or get toy donations for Toys for Tots. So it's a real feel-good experience for all of us. And
Well,
it
it's
also
just-
brings people to East Aurora.
It does. It does. And it's become famous. You know.
I hope it
So,
has.
well, if I mention it in other townships, they know of it. So it has to have, it carries some weight. And you don't see that anymore.
No.
You don't.
Well, we are lucky to have
Yeah.
the size of a lobby that we have,
Yes. Yeah,
that
'cause
we are able to
accommodated that.
we can accommodate
yeah.
a lot. I mean, there's been times I've done 3 or 4 different events back to back here because we have a lobby that can accommodate that, which is nice.
So when you have your weddings, is the not the ceremony, but the banquet, is that in here, or do they do
Actually,
it
they
somewhere
usually
else?
just do the ceremonies here,
Ah,
which
they,
is really
they use
nice.
the aisle. And
They go down the aisle. The one wedding, they actually watched the movie Up afterwards, which is such a sweet movie
That's
about.
so cool. Yeah, that scene makes me cry.
Oh yeah.
No,
so-
there's nobody. If you don't, you're not human. If
No,
you watch
so-
that montage of there's no way.
No, so I mean they've tied into the movie theme when they have their weddings here. We also we run our marquee a lot.
You do.
Yes,
So what's
people
up
want to put a special message.
Oh, right.
So we
I'm so
rent the
stupid.
marquee on
Yeah.
one side. So we'll have everything from birthday messages. We've done proposals, marriage proposals. I've done several marriage proposals, both
So-
on the marquee or in the auditorium. Very special.
So that's awesome. So like somebody will be walking on the street and it'll have "Will you marry me,
Yes.
Lisa?" and they're like,
We've done that. We've had.
"That's really cool."
We've had one gentleman who did a special video that we played, and he brought his fiance told her they were going to watch a movie, and then we put on a whole montage of their entire life. And then at the end, he proposed.
Well, she was a puddle. Of course. There's no way.
All of us were.
Yeah, you're not like nobody's getting out of there. That's awesome.
So no, I mean, there's been a lot of really unique things we've done. We also partner with charities a lot. We work with the Boys and Girls Club and highlighting the kids that succeed every month in certain levels. We support Kaylee's Kindness, which is a cancer for teenage girls organization. They help girls undergoing treatment. Honor Flight, which takes veterans to see the memorial. Yeah, we've done concerts here too.
You do?
Yeah, we do.
So
What don't
I
we
mean,
do
it's
here?
I mean,
We'd
that's,
like to do more concerts, actually.
so how do you have so is this a traditional theater where the screen will lift and you have
No,
the backstage?
It is not. There's very little room behind the screen. So what we do is bring in staging because we have a big area in front of where the screen is. And then we have done concerts. We've done several very successful concerts.
I didn't even know you
The
did.
acoustics in our auditorium
beautiful.
are beautiful.
It lends itself.
Yeah, it
perfectly
is.
to
It was made. This theater was actually made for movies and for sound.
Well, when you think about when it was made, that's
Yeah.
what they used it for.
And when they
Right.
built this theater, they had very specific requirements that it be built to be strong, to be safe.
Well, it's a community hub.
It was supposed to be a community hub. Years ago, I understand, they used to have some vaudeville acts here. They used to have hypnotists come in. There's tales of the hypnotist that hypnotized the girl who walked across the street and went into the furniture store across the street and slept for 24 hours in the bed in the window.
Oh, that's a great story.
That's Aurora Theater lore.
Oh, I love that stuff. That's awesome. So the theater is pivotal to the community. And it bothers me when I go, and I'm not going to name any townships, but it really bothers me when you see a theater that's out of business or
Breaks my
shut
heart.
down. It breaks mine too, because it's really so much more than a theater. It's not just a place to go see a movie. It's a place for everything. First date, first movie memories, community events, musical performances, and you're doing weddings now, which I never would have thought. But when you think about it, how beautiful of a venue is it? And there's so much you could do with that screen too.
Oh, there's some beautiful wedding photography that's been done in our theater. But yeah, I mean, I've gone through many towns also where you can see where the used to be the movie theater,
And you're like, oh.
and it's gone. And I understand how it happens.
Right.
You know, it's a changing industry. A lot of theaters couldn't afford to convert to digital projection. Communities change.
Yep.
But I've also seen, and we lived in a community where the theater left, and very quickly you saw all the little businesses around it and restaurants around it, they left too.
Yep. It's a magnet,
So
sure.
Yeah.
Dinner and a movie, it will always be a thing. And if it's a matinee, dinner, movie, shopping, lunch is a whole thing. And
is.
I feel the same way. It's not just, it's even if you just looked at the economics of what a theater does for a community, how it brings people in, and the way that it brings, the mindset that we have when we go to the movies is different than a lot of other experiences, because we can do that on a daily. So let's talk quickly about, movies. Matinees are big for you. Yes? Weekends?
Actually, it's funny. Matinees, depending upon the time of year and the movie, are big. And also the weather. During summer, sometimes we see our late movies do really well.
Oh, right.
It's really funny. It's a very fluctuating business, which is hard to tell, and we're very weather dependent.
Well, and your movie selection too. I mean, certain movies lend themselves
it's all about the movie. People, especially when it's a kids movie and it's coming out, the kids are so excited. That first weekend is crazy. People love coming to see the movie and be the first to see it.
Yeah, that's still.
I like to do that.
I do too. Well, because movies can get quickly ruined. If everybody you know sees a movie, you're going to know the movie before you go in, and that anticipation, that surprise of it's just the unveiling of the story that you don't know.
And actually, it's funny you say there's a lot of certain movies. There's kind of that sacred understanding that you don't tell the plot, you don't tell the secrets of the movie.
Yeah, there are certain ones that are like that.
Avengers Endgame, definitely.
Right.
That was a huge one. Star Wars,
People just.
Force Awakens, it was another one, no spoilers. I mean, and it was really, people took it very seriously, and they still do.
Yeah.
My staff take it very seriously.
It's awesome though that as culturally that's still a thing.
And you have a lot of people, don't tell me.
Yeah, well, in this internet, because we're so used to getting like stuff shoved down our throat that we don't want to hear.
Yeah.
But it's nice that people are still respectful of
They
other
are.
people.
They're very respectful of that. And that's kind of the fun part of going and seeing it with a group of people and having that whole experience when that whole unveiling of the big plot happens.
So were you a movie lover? You must have been, like before.
You know what? It's funny. I've gone through periods where I went through a period of my life where I would go to an old theater in Buffalo, the Allendale Theater. And
there you go. Wait, a little more. Okay, wait, a little bit. Okay, good. You're
and so I'd go to the Allendale Theater, and I would watch all the Spencer and Tracy movies. Spencer Tracy.
Oh, I love those.
Oh my God, I love them. And I would go by myself, and I'd sit and watch those movies.
Oh, that's awesome.
I did. I loved them. Yeah. I'd go by myself.
Yeah, I totally.
I have a lot of people who say to me that they don't feel comfortable going to the movies by themselves.
Nah, I was cool with it when I used to go.
And I'm like, I think it's great to go by yourself.
I think you can watch it in a way that it depends on the movie, but some movies are better like that.
Yeah.
Like you could just totally get tunneled into that. You know.
Owning a movie theater is kind of fun. We get to do that on occasion.
Yeah, right? Isn't it funny? Because I'm sure you don't see every movie that comes through the doors, right?
Oddly enough, no. I don't see every movie that comes. I probably should, and I've really tried to get better about watching every movie. I know my husband and I, you hear people say, don't you go to the movies all the time? Don't you go and just watch it when you want to? And I'm like,
right.
No, we don't.
As a matter of fact. Well, and I think just for people coming in saying, hey, maybe they want some information about the movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that will come in, and that's why it's important for us to watch the movie. My staff watch the movies. Because they'll ask, how's the movie? Have you seen it? Did you like it? So
that's the important thing. As long as the staff is, you have somebody you can say, hey, come over. And
yeah. So, they want a job.
Yeah, but he loves it, right? That's what he does. So now you guys have been here for 9 years.
Yes.
And so you're doing a lot of things that the theater didn't do prior to you owning it, correct? So you've really taken the reins on this and moved it forward, while still respecting the building, the traditions that are here, which is a part of what happens in East Aurora, it seems.
Yeah,
you
we
know?
spent a lot of time trying to find things that would complement the theater, but also keep it a viable business. And probably the biggest venture that we embarked upon while being here is opening the gourmet popcorn shop, the Aurora Popcorn Shop, which is actually the perfect partner for a movie theater because it's popcorn and people love popcorn, but it just
Variety.
extends their experience of loving popcorn to have cheddar popcorn and caramel corn and all the
Because
neat
sometimes
flavors
you
we
just
can
don't
make.
want,
Yeah.
just like straight up popcorn.
Yeah, so that's really been our biggest venture since owning the theater was opening the Aurora Popcorn Shop.
And that started 2 years ago?
Actually, we're going to be 4 years in
Oh, wow.
September.
Congratulations.
Thank
Holy cow.
you.
Are you distributing it locally or no?
Actually, we have online sales. We sell in-house. We do special events. And, we are really only scratching the surface right now of what business we can do with the Aurora Popcorn Shop.
Yeah, and it's just a process like everything else.
It
right?
is. It's a growing process. And we are very particular that we've tried to grow it slow in order to keep the quality of what we're doing, to make sure that every kernel's as good as the last.
Well, it's really important, honestly.
It is.
Because there's nothing worse. You get this awesome first, and then you get this weird middle, and then you get that crazy
Yes.
ending. You're like, it's soggy, doesn't taste like the top or the middle. I don't know what I'm eating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
So it's a consistency of that
It's a
product.
consistency. I mean, we do small batch. We are constantly making and packing, so it's always fresh. And we're always experimenting with new flavors.
And that's a fun part of it, right?
It is fun. It can be very frustrating because there's certain flavors I've yet to master.
Yeah, because
but
you're
I'm
like, I got
working on it.
25 pounds of bacon, salsa. I have no idea what to do with.
What isn't it?
Yeah, let's
It's
do that.
1950s marquee.
Okay.
I mean, because that's something you don't see too often.
I think we should. Well,
Yeah, and
and
it is, I mean, honestly, for East Aurora, it is like a beacon.
I was just going to say that. It was, so we used to come here when I was a kid. Do you remember Roxy's Music when that was here? This is back in the 70s.
No.
Yeah, it was right down to the right-hand side. It's where I used to come for my guitar strings and stuff. But this theater, so let's talk about that. So the Marquee is
Yes.
iconic to East Aurora.
The marquee is iconic to East Aurora. It's kind of the thing that everyone looks for. They see it when they come into town. It twinkles on Main Street 365 days a year. It says Merry Christmas. It says Happy Graduation for all
Right.
the locals.
Well, and I don't think it's a secret that when they were doing It's a Wonderful Life, that, the Marquee in that. The Marquee in any town, when you think about, this is why theaters play such an important role, psychologically and emotionally. If I was born and raised here, and I go to Philadelphia and have my career, and I come home twice a year, seeing this Marquee and a few other things in town have to just set you in a place that nowhere else on earth will, right?
Oh yeah, it basically, the marquee reminds you that you are home.
Yeah.
And people love that memory, and they love to see it when they come back. The marquee has also been highlighted in 4 or 5 movies.
I didn't even know that.
It's a star in itself.
Well, see, but so as somebody
it shines
who
in many ways.
yeah, you can't help as somebody who does this. How can you not? It's so beautiful.
It is.
You cannot but help but want to film it.
Yeah,
you know?
and honestly, the marquee was actually from the 1950s. It's not original to the theater.
What? So was the original one a flat?
No, the original one was rounded, and I have photos of it, which are kind of neat. And
Oh.
we actually have parts of it in our old concession stand above the old concession.
okay,
It's like a
that's
milk
fun.
glass, and there were metal letters that you would put on for the marquee.
That's
A
awesome.
little dangerous. A couple people said that when they got, putting them on, if they dropped one, it was a little hard.
Yeah, it'll kill somebody.
We now have plastic, but it's all neon. So that's, and the other one side of it is what they call cathode tubes, which is a very, very old type of lighting.
Well, it's what we remember when you see the old newsreels, and
Yeah.
it's the traditional marquee.
Yes.
It's what.
So, I mean, it is really a vintage marquee with quite a bit of history, and we've been maintaining it, since we purchased the theater, because there's nothing like real neon.
No, the way
It's
that
a lost art.
Yeah, it is, and it really sets the town just the light that disseminates off of the marquee at night, so beautiful.
Yes.
You know, and it's such an icon during the day, but when that thing goes off at night, it's just this beautiful glow.
Oh, it's beautiful. And then also we have the twinkly lights. And I can't tell you how long it took us to get the twinkly lights running properly. But we got them running properly, and getting the right
like a
lights for
whole
them.
thing.
It took 8 years.
Did it really? You're like, finally got those twinkle lights.
I didn't give up on that either.
No. Well, so that's what it's about too. Like, you came in, you improved the business,
Yeah.
you improved the theater, and you didn't give up on anything.
Didn't get up on the twinkly lights.
It's a metaphor, right? But the marquee, so the marquee is, whether you're 80, whether you're 50, whether you're 30, whether you're 12, this gets ingrained in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't even from here, and it's ingrained in my brain. You just associate Fiddlers, the marquee, the bridge, the circle.
Yeah, and
you
we
know.
also have something new, which I can mention.
Oh, talk about it.
Oh, we have in front of the theater now, we have a bench, a park bench. The sculpture was actually donated by the East Aurora Music Fest, who wanted to give something back to the community. And they worked with us on having him placed here in front of the theater with a bench, which is convenient for our guests. And they named him Jude, so when you go by the theater, you say, "Hey, Jude."
That was perfect. Thank you. So here's a stupid guy moment. So I'm coming into the theater, and I see him, and I'm like, if I say that, because I thought it was new,
Yeah.
but I was like, this is totally like, didn't notice it, but then you're filming, and I was like, if I say something, then I'm an idiot if it was there for the
No,
last
he's there.
15
No,
years.
he got here Memorial Day.
Okay, good, because I never remembered it. I was like, how can I not remember that?
And the fret of his guitar keeps breaking. Oh my God.
But it's awesome, and it's perfect, because it
It
adds
is.
another element to this, and it's very showbiz-like, but
It
it's
is.
not like shouting either.
Exactly. I mean,
you know?
it's really funny people how many times he's photographed a day.
Oh, it's awesome. So having the owners here when you came in is a huge deal, because really anything that you were going to face, they faced. So you
Yes.
had somebody to consult on site, or just call them up in 2 seconds and say, hey, I am completely in the weeds here.
Yeah,
What do I do?
think they had owned, Bob and Helene had owned the theater. Let's see, there were 2 owners prior to us that they had worked through. But when I got here and they were, Helene was still working here. Yeah, many
Right.
times I would say, Helene, how do I do this?
Wow.
Or her husband would show me where all the light switches were,
Sure.
or the fuse boxes, and there's many here.
Did you guys have to upgrade the entire electric here?
We only upgraded electric in the projection booth.
Okay. Because it's such an old theater that at
Oh,
some
it is.
point you're like,
It's somewhat
but you're not
interesting.
like, you weren't popping fuses in the middle of movies where you're like, fuses out, there's like 700 people in here.
Once or twice we had a little fuse issue. I learned what a glass fuse looks like.
Right? Flashlight in the mouth. You're like, all good.
Yeah,
Oh
but
my
I
God.
also think that when we first bought the theater, many people in particular, some of the previous owners looked and said, "And do you really think you know what you're doing?" I think there was a little skepticism. I really
There
do.
always is. It takes, well,
what are you guys doing? I mean,
you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's all, at that point, it's just passion and drive, right?
Yeah.
That make all that difference. When you don't know, you're like, you just got to push through. You'll get to the other side. It's just a matter
you
of,
do.
you know.
You're constantly jumping hurdles. You really are.
But I mean, it's fun, and it makes this whole experience, it accentuates it. It does. It gives you,
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean, it's no different than this. Like, when you look back, it's probably been a crazy journey from when you purchased it to now. But
Oh,
you wouldn't
yes.
change a thing.
Um, Well, I probably would, but
Oh, do tell. Camera's on. Just kidding. Camera's rolling. Well, you know what I mean, though. I mean, all of that
oh,
accumulative
you
experience.
always look back and say, had I known then what I know now, yes, I probably could have done it differently and more effectively, but it's part of the
Yeah.
learning process.
It is. Everybody goes through it. It's
Everybody
part of,
does.
No matter what business I do, everybody has the same experience.
Yeah.
I always love when somebody says, there's, I just saw it a couple weeks ago too, and I can't remember what the hell it was. It's this movie, and the kid comes to the realization that nobody really knows what they're doing.
No, you really don't. You know what? If you say you do,
Yeah. You don't.
You don't.
You know, and you do.
I love people that do have that confidence.
Yeah, but you know, it's mostly chutzpah and brav. You know, it's not authentically. We know what we're doing based on our previous experience.
Yes.
But we're always on the cusp of not knowing. You know, it's business owners.
And I do give my husband so much credit because he's such a good business person that, you know, we definitely have a great handle on the business.
Well, you can't be understated. Having a husband and wife team to handle various aspects of the business, huge. I see it every single day. You know, like I'm solo.
Huge for the business. And like has the movie theater being
Right. Well, and this is a very, very sociable business too. This isn't like a little accounting office on Elmwood with 3 employees. I mean, this is a very social.
Oh.
Like everybody comes. I was just thinking about this the other day when I was thinking about coming here because this is something that I find fascinating about businesses like this. We could probably fairly say that everybody that lives in East Aurora, that's everybody, from children to the elderly, has been here.
Yes, and I gotta say, it is somewhat of a combination.
I go through that with this. I think it's partially your confidence in running this now. Mm-hmm. You've weathered all these storms, and you know that nothing, it's that old adage, right? Nothing is permanent, and this will pass, and I'll get through this.
Do you want to hear our classic save the day moment? Okay, our classic save the day moment. It was 2 weeks before we were converting to digital.
Okay.
Our 35 millimeter projector
That's a huge shift.
was still working.
Okay.
And I got a call. I was home, and it's our box office person. She says, Lynn, you need to come up. There's a problem. I come up. I run upstairs. Now, people are in the auditorium. The movie was supposed to just start.
Okay.
I go up in the projection booth. My manager is there. She's trying feverishly to figure it out. Film is all over the floor.
God.
I said, what's going on?
That's panic mode.
Parts started flying off the projector.
It was like a cartoon, like gears and wheels and film.
So I called another one of our staff, said, hey, if you can get up here to help. We came downstairs because we had another projector that we could look where the parts needed to go to.
Right.
I ran into the dark auditorium and said, we'll have the movie in a minute.
Oh my God.
I didn't realize we had 200 people in the auditorium at the time. They were very pleasant. And within 15 minutes, we put the projector back together and we were able to put the film all back on the reel.
You're kidding me.
And the movie played beautifully. In the movie, I'll never forget that movie.
So, and that was right around the beginning.
It was
for you.
right in the beginning that it happened, thankfully.
See? So
Parts
that's
flew.
crazy.
But there was film all over the floor.
Oh, but you didn't panic, in a way. Like, you kept it together. I mean,
It was one of those you want to panic, but you had to get the job done.
What are you going to do? Right, that's the restaurant
But it was
thing,
funny
right?
because we were very heartbroken about having to convert to digital. The art of 35 millimeter film was going to be gone.
Yeah.
That night.